Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel, man. How are you going? Okay, brothers and sisters. Now we look at some things that are really important. I am a children's trainer. I'm an older adults trainer. I am a Pilates instructor, if I can say it, yoga, okay, rehab, all that kind of stuff, nutritionist. I know. But look, doesn't matter what I say on paper. It matters what I'm able to help you with, okay? Now, I have taught kids for many years about fitness, and I had the privilege of working with a whole bunch of these boys and girls in one of the local schools for a number of years, which was one of the most rewarding things I ever did. Basically, because you get to show kids some stuff that will last them a lifetime, and they never forget the things that you've shown them. When it comes down to it, they are so incredibly thankful for the things that you show them, even if they can't verbalize that. They often remember the things that you've shown them, and I still bump into some of the kids from 4 or 5 years ago, and they always remember the exercises we did and the fun way that we made those things very functional and useful for them. And they say, oh, I learned so much from you. I love doing this sport. I love doing that sport. It becomes quite an addictive thrill when you are able to share those kind of experiences with people who are just so open, and they are just little people. They may not have the intellectual capacity, but they definitely have something that most adults lose, which is an animalistic capacity to be able to express themselves through movement. And lots of these kids through dance as well, and this kind of stuff, all very much related through martial arts and other sports and stuff like that. So it's very important from a young age to get kids to understand what the value of being able to do a push-up, or understand what the basic movements of the body are, how hydration affects them, how nutrition affects them, even if it's in the smallest ways, because understanding things like brushing your teeth, personal hygiene, all those kind of things, they help to build self-respect, an awareness of what's happening in one's life, to be able to bridge gaps and fill your time with stuff that could otherwise be filled with mindless pondering that could lead to something stupid. And kids are very much to be able to just leave out in the wind. We have to make sure their time is filled with things that they can benefit from in a way that isn't dogmatic or makes them submissive. It's about involvement and giving them a chance to express themselves, to learn about how their body works from day to day. And once that's in, I think one of the things that, from my personal experience with schools and my kid, on the curriculum, is everything is very generic, everything is very rounded, and there's nothing specifically there that teaches children until maybe later on in school, when it's too late, what it is they need to be able to be fit and healthy adults, and how the choices they make now and the life they live and how they begin earlier the better, well, that stays with them the whole of their life. And if they don't have somebody who's relatively passionate about it, because anybody who enthuses, doesn't matter if it's music or if it's a pastime or whatever it is, rock climbing, somebody who enthuses about that kind of stuff, who really enjoys it and is consistently applying those principles to their own life, well, monkey see, monkey do. If you're a smoker and you're sitting at home and you're watching TV and you're drinking your beer, look out, because you are planting those seeds in the mind, the fertile mind of a kid who will think that all those things are perfectly normal. If that's what you want for your kids, well, that's fair enough. You do that. You will then have to see how that affects them later in life. And as they watch your diminishing lifestyle and health because of those choices that you made, maybe it'll be too late for them to break out of those cycles. Because as trainers, we see adults say, oh, my dad was a smoker, my mum was a drinker, you know, they always ate this way. And they replicate the things they see you doing. So the biggest key here is to be proactive in allowing your kids to see that you're taking steps to put food in their lunchbox that's healthy, to put food on your plate that's healthy, that you explain to them the importance of why you're drinking that water, And how, if they're thirsty, have water. If you say you're thirsty and you want Fanta or Coke or whatever it is, no disrespect to them, well, you're not thirsty. Thirst is quenched through water. Go ahead and have some water. You'll feel better. You'll poo better. You know, in the back of your head, what do you want? Sick kids that you have to take to the doctors every 5 minutes? Or making an effort to spend 10 more minutes preparing a meal from scratch? Simple meals, simple foods, steamed foods. And again, if they say they're hungry and they don't want to eat what you put in front of them, well, you have to teach them how to be respectful. And if this is the food that we're all eating, this is the food you will eat. And believe me, magically, when there's nothing left, if you are the adult and you're not asserting yourself in a non-aggressive but formative way, that is what we really have to be concerned about here, that you are the adult and you are not managing this situation properly. I will feed my kid pizza every so often as a treat, but it is not something that he gets all the time. It's something that he'll get occasionally because he's a kid. Fair enough, but the rest of the time he's on the stuff that I'm on, and I will make food and I will express to him the importance of this food. And of course, when they're hungry, they'll eat. That's it. Otherwise, they will not starve to death. Once they're hungry, they might make a scene about it, but if you give them repercussions, if you give them consequences for choosing not to eat food that somebody has prepared for you, which is perfectly good, then you are leaving the door open for later abuse in other areas. But once they understand this is what we are all eating, you will have part of this. And then you can reward them afterwards, give them something nice and slightly higher in sugar at the end. But first of all, let's get those nutritional parts in there. Once they start to be able to link up nutrition and the actual physical side of it, they'll see you doing stuff. They'll see your gym shoes. They'll see you going to the gym. They'll see you going out for walks, taking them with you. See you having pastimes and hobbies that they will also have, going to football games, doing those kind of things, getting them involved in gymnastics, getting them involved in soccer and team sports, in learning how to do things, even if it's just one-on-one stuff. It doesn't have to be big team sports. I know I wasn't a particular big team sport player when I was a kid, but that was because my parents were always so busy moving around. I never got a chance to do that, but I managed to learn how to ride a bike and how to go running and all those kind of things that I later in life continued to do. But those were things that I had to learn for myself because my parents weren't particularly active. So with my kid, when you think about it, when I'm stopped to think about it, just to backtrack a little bit, my dad isn't active at all. I mean, he's pretty lazy, to be honest with you, but he looks the way you'd expect a lazy man to look. Fat, high blood pressure, diabetes type 2, teeth all falling out, no self-respect. And those are the things I looked at. And at 42, I look at how he was at 42. And no disrespect to the guy, I really didn't want that for myself. So I make sure that that's not something that my kid's going to see. And I tell my kid when I take him with me to do my workouts that I need to have this in my life. And I consistently reinforce how important these things are when we're at the supermarket. I'll allow him to go and fetch me the ingredients and explain to him what I'm deriving from those foods. What is it in the Brussels sprouts that I'm looking for that it gives my body something different? What is it, the kind of meats that I'm choosing one meat over the other when there's so much there, there's so much to confuse a young mind? What it is those oils and fats do? What the effect of having too much colas will do? How much having processed foods will do? And they start to get a better grip on that as you ask them to express themselves and get involved in how that all fits together. So primarily, as I've already said, the biggest example that your kids will have, and one of the things that makes you less of a hypocrite, really, you say, yeah, you do that, and then you're off getting pissed when they go to bed. It really helps to pull you back into line, and help to think, well, I have a responsibility to make sure that they have a good start. And if they have a solid foundation of many, many years of watching me take care of myself, and my motivation is I want to be 100 years old. I want to see his family and be a great-great-grandfather if I can do, but I'm not going to get there if I just keep on plowing myself with the shit. Honestly, I'd love to go and get pissed every single day, eat crap foods non-stop, but I know within a relatively short period of time. Any longevity or ambition I have about being a great-great-grandfather will be severely capped because of my choices. I've got to be able to express that and explain that in a way to my kid who's 8 and has consistently been part of my life as a trainer. Ever since he's been born, I've been personal training. So he has a better understanding than most office workers' kids about what daddy does, because he's had to roll with me. Excuse me. And basically, so getting them involved in showing them, okay, this exercises. It also has the unexpected and added benefit of him picking up a trade vicariously by listening to me and watching me time and time again. I couldn't begin to tell you how many thousands of squats he's watched me do, or watched me give to clients, or how many skipping sessions I've done, how many times that we've cycled together. So I don't have a car. I have a bike with a big wooden box in the front, which he sits in, which is practical now, but won't be practical when he's 21. And I don't think, you know, he'll be too keen on me dropping him off, but I might be in a position where he could cycle me around in the box. But the point there is that we make time throughout the day, not only to have a big wooden box in the front of a bike, but also to enjoy that. So instead of taking a car to pick him up from school, I ride the 40 minutes. I ride the 40 minutes back with him in the front, and we talk and we spend time about the importance of not just putting your foot down on an accelerator, sitting in traffic and being bummed out trying to get from one destination to another. So the experiences that we share become part of his reality, and they are woven into how he lives his life. And this way, what happens is he's able then to replicate those from first-hand experience, not from stuff he read in a book, on the vibe that he picks up from me, the things that I say and do, and the way I look after myself, and I take care of my body. He'll try to do that for himself. But if you're stuck in an office, it might be slightly harder. And how do you do this then to make that right? Well, you can always start with the stuff that brings us together, which is the food side. Take them to the supermarket. Make a pledge to yourself that you won't go into the aisles off to the right, which contain all the shit in packets and bags and all kinds of high sugars and colorants. What we're looking for here is to go to the fresh food parts, the fresh meats, and get the freshest foods, and think about simple combinations that will satisfy your nutritional quotas on a 24-hour basis. This is the key to teaching your kids how to have a long and happy life. And mark my words, they will pick it up. Of course, they're still going to want the sweets. They're still going to want the goodie bags at parties and stuff like that. But they'll also think about what's happening on the other side of the coin. And they can exercise some caution as they don't scoff and gobble down a whole bunch of sweets every 5 minutes just to keep them quiet, for want of something better than giving them some exercise, activity, encouraging them, pushing them into something for their own benefit without being critical of what the outcome is. I think it's very important that that happens. So lead by example. Make sure that you do make time to feed them properly, and have the courage to follow up if they don't want to eat foods that you've prepared for them. I tell my kid, how dare you? How dare you not eat that food after I've prepared it for you? Yeah, but I want this. Well, unfortunately, we have no room for the I wants, and if you're really hungry, you'll eat this food. They don't eat it, off to bed. It may sound cruel, but at the end of the day, he learned very fast. I just eat the food. Now he loves it. He really does enjoy it. Doesn't mean he'll stop wanting the other stuff, but if that's all that's on offer, then he'll have to go with that. And as his parent, I have an obligation to assert myself in a way that's healthy and productive, and lead by example. That way the kids will have some kind of longevity and something that they can enjoy later and be thankful for, because they do. They're always picking up on how thankful they are when they start noticing, as you get older, how their friends, when I go back home and I look at the people who I went to school with, hello everybody, fat, you know who you are, gray, miserable, depressed, I'm old, yeah. That's you, dude, not me. I'm not fucking doing that. And the reason is, I know better. I don't want him to fall into your trap, because that is a fucking suicide in installments you've got there, and you're just killing yourself one day at a time by not being proactive, by slowly letting out the air from your life until you're just a quivering mess. Not for me. It won't happen for him either if I can help it. And the only way I can do that, well, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll get to an age and you just say, go on, up yours, mate. I'm going to sit here and eat pizza all day. Maybe it won't, but we'll find out. Anyway, so here we have again my famous 0 views. I'm doing something right, I'm sure. Someone somewhere is watching. They are being watched as they're going up, and there's not many, but there are people watching on YouTube. So thank you for that. If you're watching, if you want to be part of the event, just click on the part down there. I think it will come up, but or it might be that I have to do that. I did probably, but there's a little box here that says if you want to be part of the event. Next time you can click on that, and you can ask me questions. If I can activate that Q&A there. Let's see, Q&A, opening up the Q&A for my 0 viewers. People can ask questions, but if you still have any questions, you can put them in the comments box at the bottom and I'll get back to you. If you want to have a consultation, you want some ideas how to get your kids active and out and about, more than happy to do that. We do run kids sessions. We've got a lot of experience in showing kids how to enjoy themselves, how to be part of an adult or parent and adult kind of dynamic where they can still reciprocate and enjoy while you're working out, and how you can keep them entertained while you're working out, and let them understand and build up that kind of relationship where they know that that's important to you. So give us a shout or email me at pat@ilovept.com and we can do something as soon as you like. Every day is a new day and a school day, obviously. All right, kids. Well, nice to see you. I'll be back, I think, in a minute. I've got another last one for today. But good work so far, so good. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.